which is pretty
Oh my
pretty
God.
new.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I guess it's because it's going by views,
Yes.
and it's I'm sure it ranks well in the search engines. Of course, there is 16 pages.
There's only, yeah, 24,000 views on that one. That's funny.
Well, actually, it's
Well,
almost two
nobody's going to
years.
know what we're talking about, so
Yeah,
we
it's
should
actually
we should
2 years
probably
old.
save this one.
Yeah. Wow.
Now there is a reason to not get rid of the modern statistics
Funny.
plugin.
Yeah, I know. We need to figure out why it breaks the polls. I mean,
It's just
I don't get it.
unsupported plugins inside of a technology. Just something about that, maybe.
God, yeah, but what's weird too is it's almost got to be a conflict with a theme or something, or maybe another add-on, because when I go to the company's website that makes that add-on, there's no complaints of it. Of course, I don't think you can see, like, there hasn't been a lot of activity on that website in the past year and a half, so you can tell they sort of abandoned it.
Hmm.
But didn't I find one that was like it? I think I did
I don't
find
know.
one
I
that
think
was
we're
like it.
boring the hell out of anyone listening to us right now.
Oh, did we start?
Oh yeah, we're up. We're
Oh, well, shit! Happy birthday.
well, no, we're not all the way live yet. We're still
Oh.
we're still we're still
The
doing
clock
the
said it
countdown.
said so 102. So I was like, oh, it's two after.
Yeah, we got Drew Ament and Ryan Leslie already
Any
here.
plans for
Looks
the
like
weekend?
Adam just joined. And Ryan, thank you for that mushy comment.
Is it? What did he
He
say?
left it in the forum, so
I'll check it out. Should you throw the URL over to him? Have him jump on?
have him jump in here.
Yeah.
Oh, that could be dangerous.
Birthday
Oh,
resolution. Get rid of that sound that comes with that
I
intro.
like this
Drives me
sound.
crazy. Oh my god, I hate it.
The
Scares
squeaky
shit out
door,
of me every
man.
time. No, drives me crazy. Need a nice little jazz tune.
Hmm. We're gonna have to
Something less
call Aaron
obnoxious.
Barton again. That's who made that for us.
Oh, that's right.
Yep. And see,
Yeah.
look. Drew says he loves the sound.
Really?
That's the sound that you know it's on.
uh, we'll add an audio file to the forum, so every time you hit refresh or you go to the forums, it makes that sound. See
Ooh,
how quick we can wear it out.
that's a great idea. No. Yeah, so happy birthday to everyone.
Dealer refresh. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't say
Man,
us.
17 years.
So
That's hard to believe.
so I know there's been a
Thanks,
little
Ryan.
bit of alcohol in your life, maybe some kids along the way and some things in those 17 years, Jeff.
Yeah, a lot of shit has happened in 17 years. You as well.
Yeah.
How many jobs have you had in 17 years?
17 years, I've had 3 now.
All right, that's not too
So
bad, I
Checkered
guess.
Flag, Dealer.com, and Frickin' Tech. So
Yeah,
what about you?
yeah. I guess it's about the same. I was here when I started Dealer Refresh at the Benz dealership, and then went to Mile One, and then Hook Logic, and pretty much back to here. And in between that, I worked at the group that owns this Benz dealership and oversaw the marketing.
It's the
Yeah,
circle of life for you, Jeff.
I know. Yes. Top members of all time, K Car and Ling.
Oh yeah,
Ling's no longer in the business.
we'll dive into some of that, Ryan.
Yeah,
Maybe we
she
can find that old Larry Bruce video.
oh my god, do you have that?
I
Do
bet
you
I could
have it?
find it. I know you have it. You gave it to me last.
I know, I've got it somewhere. I think it's in Dropbox somewhere. You should
Yeah,
probably publish that to the forums.
yeah. That's
It's
well,
in an old thread. I know it is.
well, Jeff. 17 years ago, what was inspiring you to create Dealer Refresh?
I feel like I answer the question every year at about the same time.
Yes, you need to do it again for the 17th time. Come on, man.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Well, as the story goes, uh, just bored. I wasn't bored. There was just no one here to, that was sort of at the very beginning of dealerships tapping into technology and websites and all that good stuff. And really didn't have one to talk to. You know, there was a couple. Well, it was I don't. I think Digital Dealer magazine was coming out. I think that was in existence. So you'd read a lot of those articles, but no one to bounce ideas off of unless you were able to get to a conference. But then, of course, that's limited, 1 or 2 days. I
So,
remember going
so
to the
what
very
you're
first
saying is
conference.
you wanted your face on the cover of Digital Dealer.
No, that definitely was not it. No, nope, not that type of person. No, but no, it just needed someone to talk to. I needed a friend in the industry, and just what was it? We were on. I started off with TypePad, which was a blogging, which is still in existence. Matter of fact, I've got like a family slash kid blog that's sort of ongoing. We've sort of slacked back and posting to it, but it actually goes back to the very first day my son was born, and then my daughter, and there's all these family photos and stuff. So it's sort of private. You can't really access it. It doesn't get indexed or anything like that. But TypePad was probably, other than WordPress, because WordPress did exist back then, but TypePad was probably the biggest, easiest blog platform to use. The funny thing is, since I still get in there from time to time for the family one, I don't think anything has changed. It almost looks, the admin and everything looks almost exactly as it did 17 years ago.
Hmm.
So I can't remember, some company bought them out, but I forget who it was. But yeah, TypePad. So just put up TypePad and started a little design. I had a friend that was a graphic designer. He helped me out with VW Rep, which was my personal page whenever I was selling Volkswagens years before that. So he helped me out with a few graphics, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was just like, I'll just start blogging and put the shit out there and see what happens. That's when you stumbled across the site.
Yeah, almost a whole year later.
Was it
I,
that long?
yeah, because if Dealer Refresh, we don't actually know when Jeff started Dealer Refresh. We just went back into the archives, and the earliest post or blog article we could find was May 5th,
Well, I
2005.
mean, yeah. I mean, you know, that's the proper time for it. So,
Yeah, and then my the earliest post we could find for me, because I didn't keep track of it either, was like April of 2006.
oh, okay.
And I have lost track of that article that I responded to you on.
It's
I
got to
can't
be in
even
there
remember
somewhere.
what pissed me off.
I know.
You said something.
something had you mad. I think it was around BDC operations or something like that.
Mm, okay.
Yeah. Made you all mad, and you decide to get on there and write this big FU response. Maybe I don't think it's quite that harsh, but
Yeah,
I was like,
this
who's
little single point punk who
yeah, it's like who's
didn't
this
didn't
crazy
have
crazy cat?
any people working for him, just doing it all by himself. What the hell does he know about making BDCs?
I know. I was like, who's this crazy cat? So I hunted you down, man. I stalked you out. found out where you worked, found your phone number, and called your ass. I think we were
Yep.
on the phone for like 3 or 4 hours.
I remember we had the top floor of the mini store at Checkered Flag,
That's right.
and
Yeah, that's right.
it's a nice facility. It still is. But
It was.
yeah, so the BDC was up there. We had the service BDC, we had the sales BDC, and IT all on the same floor. And I remember the mini receptionist coming upstairs and saying, "Alex, this is a weird one. I didn't want to just transfer it to you." He said he's not trying to sell you anything, and he doesn't want to buy a car. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to go through and see if I can find it. In all the different, I mean, it's possible that it got knocked off, but as far as I know, almost everything's still up and live. But there's
We
some,
can find it.
yeah, there's some old stuff.
That's worth a trek down memory lane.
Yeah. In the 17 years, for me, the hardest part is just keeping the initiative, keeping the drive, because, even if you go back to some of those first articles, 17 years later, we're still talking about a lot of the same shit, especially when it comes down to operation, uh, people, all that
Motivating
good stuff.
salespeople.
Yeah. Yeah. All the same conversations, which of course probably always will be. But
It's funny.
it,
It's funny you mentioned that. Remember Spencer Beckstead? We had him on a
mhm,
few episodes ago, and
mhm.
so he works with me now. And yeah, there you go, Ryan. Hit the archive. But and we just, I think it was yesterday, we were talking about how some of these things for sure never change, and it goes all the way back to when we were riding horses and not cars. So could we say it's been like 17,000 years of trying to motivate salespeople? And we probably will be
Probably.
talking about that
Yeah.
17,000 years from now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You wrote an article around that. I don't know if it was around that topic, but I know you mentioned something about the horse and buggy and certain, pointing out the different things that haven't changed.
Yeah, just the manure.
Yeah,
It's
I'd
not
say
piled as
if
high.
if you had to put a time where the biggest change, at least within the last 17 years, has probably been over the past 2 years.
So, yeah, it's happening
Probably
now for
seen,
sure.
you know, just with technology or technology being pushed, and of course the market itself. I mean, it's I've never seen anything like what we're currently in, and trying to keep up with all the, not so much the trends, but just keeping up with the market. It's it's a good challenge. I do. Earlier, I was watching a video. Jason Rice has something on his Facebook page, and I was in the middle of watching that before I got interrupted. But he's got some pretty good information over there when it comes down to the used car market and what's currently happening. Um, I need to go back and watch that, but we're just touching on the how much has changed just in the past 2 years.
Well, there's some signs that are starting to appear now of some inventory on the way. We've also seen, at least in April, and I don't know how much of this is inventory related. I think some of it, these things are always complex. There's many factors, but it could be that people were expecting higher tax rebates. Forgot about those child credits and everything that were received.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it does seem like there was a slowdown in sales last month. So we'll see if that carries into May. It's still very early, but
Mm-hmm.
also I had heard in the last GM earnings call that they were talking about bringing cars to dealership lots in Q3 in a much larger number. They had implied that they had figured out a source for the chips. So,
I saw some writings about that. Yeah,
and
guess we'll
then
see.
Look, I've been doing a little bit of traveling lately, and so have a few people I work with, and we've all noticed that many lots are we got some cars, especially in North
Few.
Carolina. I was surprised how
Oh,
many
really?
dealers had new cars sitting on their lots. Yeah,
I wonder if that's regional because it really hasn't changed much here. We've got maybe just a handful more Benz. The Toyota dealership's still pretty dry. Still dry. So
would have to assume that the OEMs are supplying the volume of stores first.
that would make sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, back to TypePad. So we had moved from TypePad, um, and I was fine with that for quite a while. I'm trying. I think I at some point we came over to WordPress. Of course, that made logical sense. Um, and then maybe a couple years after that, because really the forums was your idea. I didn't want the hassle. I'm like, he's gonna, we'll start this forum, and then like you'll disappear, go get a job somewhere else, and leave me stranded.
I did.
And that's what you did. But no, that's so WordPress, and then you say, hey, let's do a forum because you were a big part of some Honda forum and you like the engagement and all that stuff around it.
S2KI.
So yeah, I was like, all right, well, let's do it. So we brought the forums over to or started them in V Bulletin, which is still a pretty strong forum program. And then how long has it been since we transferred over to Zen 4.0?
It's been a while.
6, 7 years, maybe
It's,
longer.
we're about to have our third redesign under Zen 4.0.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where I was when we brought that over to Zen. But anyways, I've always been happy with the Zen. The biggest well, we'll get into that later. That's a different topic, really.
There was also the move to AWS, which brought
Yeah,
Craig
from GoDaddy
Hoogland.
to AWS. Yep.
Yep. So Craig, you guys have seen Craig H on the forums for years, and we tapped him. I don't know how many years ago to help us with the AWS move, and he's been a huge
Dude,
part of
Craig's been
Dealer
awesome for
Refresh and
us.
the
Yep.
background and the IT work and everything ever since.
Yeah, high five to Craig. If anyone sees him in the forums, give him a big thanks because he really helps with all the server issues. We don't have too many issues,
The
but
spam
when we're doing
attacks.
redesigns, yeah, spam attacks, Cloudflare helps out with some of that. Yeah. Because I do get that question a lot. It's like, what programs do you use? What software do you use? What hardware do you use? And, you know, I remember most of it, the different programs that we've used in the past. But no, we've stuck around with Zen. Zen's a strong, it's definitely a strong program.
Mm-hmm. And then let's see, on the Refresh Friday side. So I believe
Yeah. It's
you
been,
and
what, 4
Ryan
years?
Girardi got that started back in 2018,
Yeah, he had to pull me into that. I'm not a big video person.
or maybe that was 17, because I got back
It may
into
have
Dealer
been.
Refresh in 18. So
Yeah, it might have been 16,
yeah,
or 17.
wow.
Yeah, because I think it was 2 years there. But of course, we didn't start Refresh Friday right away. So we probably had a good year into it before you came back.
Hmm. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
that always on Zoom until recently.
I believe it was. Yeah, we did use Zoom.
Yeah, so
Yeah, we
now
use Zoom. See, Alex is one of these people. He can't leave well enough alone too often. He's always got to find some new program, He's got to change something up. Whereas I used to be like that, but now I'm like, nah. I just stick with what I know, what's working. No, not Alex. He's got to have the latest and the greatest, and so so we were on Zoom, which great program. But then you come across this Ecamm, and we had to make changes. We had to go over to Ecamm. but I'm glad we did because it's pretty solid.
Yeah, Zoom was quite limiting. And for those of you who use Zoom, they do have a webinar piece, and that's what we used for it.
Hmm.
And it would broadcast to one or stream to one thing. And they were working on doing something for gamers where they could start to stream to Twitch and YouTube and all this other
Yeah.
stuff as well. And I think the pandemic seemed to have shifted their development schedule as they exploded because of it.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and then we found Ecamm, and Ecamm, its connection into Restream was really the key for us. So once we got
Yeah.
that all straight, that's when we got on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook simultaneously.
Yeah. If anyone's looking for a solid video, what's that considered? Just
Well,
video broadcast?
yeah, you have to be on a Mac for this one.
Oh,
There,
still?
yes, this is Mac
Okay.
only. There is XBMC, OBCC, or something, OBS maybe for
Hmm.
PC. Um, and that's much like a PC. You got
Okay.
a lot to figure out, and this one's pretty simple. Oh, we have some questions here.
Yeah. What
Right.
was the one that was just posted?
Yeah,
I didn't
Ryan
even.
was asking, or saying it would be cool to see a historical chart of monthly unique visitors over the years. And I can tell you, Ryan, we when Facebook groups came along, so we saw Dealer Refresh climbing up and up and up to the right month after month, and then Facebook groups came along. That's really eaten some of the traffic, and we're starting to watch it grow again as I think people are getting a little tired of Facebook. Um, but that's what you would
Yeah.
see. You would see
That's.
up and to the right, dip, and then
Yep.
slow and gradual up and to the right again.
Yep. With throughout the years, there's certain months that are pretty consistent where it's lower amount of traffic, and then towards the summer months, or I guess what towards the end of summer, we'll see a nice spike. But yeah, that's been the biggest competition because think about all the other forums, industry forums, and websites, which we just posted about that 2 weeks ago, which was just ironic. But driving sales was pretty big. So I know Dealer Refresh was the very first automotive forum. Um, was the first one, and then after that, you saw a few more. Ralph Paglia, RIP. He started one. I forget the name of it. That one was pretty good. It was a shit show though, but
Well, that was a Ning
it,
site, right?
yeah, a lot of them use that whole Ning platform, which was nice back in the day. A lot of flexibility, and then Dealer Elite, uh, driving
Driving
sales, of
sales.
course. Yep, they're the three that really stick out. I know there was one or two more, but they've all disappeared. I know driving sales is still out there, but I don't. Doesn't seem like there's much going on.
The
So
conference.
yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, we've outlasted the competition. Uh, the biggest hit though has definitely been social media and mostly Facebook. That's been it's like, do you fold up the forums and move it over to a group on Facebook or something? But you just don't have the flexibility. Plus, the great thing about forums is everything's archived. It's there. You do a search, you can find it. Good luck doing that on a Facebook group, you
Right.
know. And of course, if you want to monetize it, it's way more difficult to monetize on someone else's social media platform.
Hmm.
So,
Speaking of monetizing, Rick Buffkin's asking, hindsight's 2020. If you had to change anything and do it differently, what would you change? So that's exactly one of the things that I would change. My biggest regret is recommending that Jeff and I go over to a particular accounting firm um, last year. Uh, that was a big mistake. That hurt.
yeah, I mean that's that's a good question. Of course, there's probably a lot that goes into it, but I don't know. I sort of beat myself up over it sometimes because, you know, as it turned 17, it's like why didn't we do more with it? As in a conference, a dealer refresh conference. Um, Maybe I guess a publication of some sort would be stupid. But why, it should have I should have had the gumption to really sort of build it out. You and I to be able to build it out into maybe something bigger and better than what it is. I think what happened was, at least what I recall, was by the time it made sense to do that, everyone else was having conferences. And I hate doing the same shit everybody else does, which is, it's not a good way to look at things. I shouldn't be that way, but I am. So I really, because we were looking, I was working with April Rain. We were thinking about putting together a conference, and I'm sure, you know, we sort of did a hybrid when several years ago, whenever I was speaking with, God, I can't remember the name of the conference that we put together. It was Kevin
It was a
Fry,
road show,
myself.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a road show. Joe Webb, Todd Smith, Eric Milch, a couple other
Think
bunch
tank.
bunch of other. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, dealer think tank. That's what it was. So we sort of did an off branch where it was like a dealer think tank slash dealer refresh. We did it in the DC area, which turned out great. I mean, we had a great turnout. But as we were looking into the opportunities of maybe starting a conference, everyone else was starting them, and just couldn't pull everything together. So didn't go down that route. But I
You,
would have liked to have started a conference, um, and maybe jumped on video a little bit earlier. Um, my biggest problem for me, and Alex, I know you're pretty much the same. I'm not big self promoters. It might seem like that because you've got a forum and you're putting yourself out there. I've spoken at, as you have as well, a lot of the different conferences over the years. But I'm not a big self promoter, and it's it's not. I mean,
I-
it's not good.
if I were to put you next to Brian Pash, I never would have guessed that, Jeff. In
Whatever.
Ryan Leslie, you got some great questions. We'll come back to those in a minute. But I got one for you, Jeff, on the regret side. Do you ever regret not selling Dealer Refresh to Duncan Scary?
Ooh. Uh, no, I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't know because had the figure been higher, yeah, maybe. Yeah. Now, what was appealing to that was the resources that he was able to bring to the table. Yeah, a lot of different resources. But I go back and I still share a text with Duncan from time to time, and I don't think he's ever gotten back into the industry. So that was his biggest thing. His non compete was up, and I think he just wanted to get back into the industry one way or another, and it made an offer. And that almost happened with driving sales as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, me and Jarrett sat down quite a few times because he would speak at NADA, the um, the school, which is in Virginia, which wasn't too far from Frederick, which I'm not too far from. So we would meet in Frederick once, every 2 or 3 months, and sit down, have dinner, and just discuss shit. And we were thinking about going down that path, and it was like almost all but put together, and it never materialized. Same way with Dealer On, the guys over at
Right.
Ali and Amir. Yeah.
Forgot about
Had
that
quite a
too.
few dinners, spoke about a few things, almost went to go work for them. Really close, really close. And yeah. So I would say no, no regrets. You know, maybe if that initial figure was higher, I may have considered it, but nothing's ever really made it worth it.
Hmm. I wonder
You
if
know, and and
the
and we,
reason.
we didn't start the forums to turn around and sell it. That's not. It wasn't the goal. You
Well,
know, it
that's
was just to what?
we're on the same page here because I was just
Yeah.
gonna say, I wonder if the reason Dealer Refresh has stayed around so long and outlasted a few others is just because this is a hobby. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
job.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, we make a few bucks from our sponsors, but most of that goes back into the, into keeping in latest software and redesigns. Um, it's not like we make any significant amount of money off of it.
No, I
It's
don't
just
think
enough to
either
keep
of
it
us
going.
could live off of it at all.
No, no,
No.
definitely not. But shout out to all of our sponsors and all of our previous sponsors, because again, it's what helps keep the lights on. Um, you know, allows things to run a lot smoother than what maybe they would. And we get hit with a lot of spam, so you got to make sure that you've got some programs in place to help defend against that.
By the way, speaking of that, we uh we blocked the entire country of Russia, um,
But
Nigeria.
that
What?
was
How
a
many?
while ago.
Yeah.
That
How
wasn't
many?
news related or politically related.
No, no, no. Yeah, that was just we were under attack so bad all the time. We had to.
Yeah,
We just started blocking countries. So it
yeah,
worked,
we
but
do.
now they figured out how to VPN through,
Oh, I know.
other means. It's been annoying recently.
It is annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And just
we
want to
use.
shout out to Alex Vetter real quick. I saw his comment and thank you all for the birthday wishes.
Thank you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use Cloudflare to keep down on the spam from other countries. I mean, it's why have visitors from other countries like that? You know, other than Canada, we've got
Well,
a lot of community members from Canada.
all they want to do is sell their SEO,
Mm-hmm.
and they're women, so
I haven't seen any of those for a while.
oh, there's been a few.
Russian. Yeah.
Yeah. So how about some questions from Ryan? We're gonna have to flash this comment a few times. So, what is your favorite forum post or topic of all time?
Oh,
Hmm.
that was the QR code thread.
Yeah, of course. Not mine.
For the longest time, that was like the most popular thread. Phil Penton started that, God, forever ago. But that's another example. A whole thread around QR codes that, I don't know, 40, 60 pages of comments on it. Uh, and I know it's probably over 10 years old for sure, probably 12 or 13 years old. And I feel like now we're just actually, like, I'm seeing actual uses for QR codes, and I see more and more companies using them, especially for like mobile menus and like if you go to a restaurant or check-ins, just different things like that. So I should go in there and comment and see if I can get it back up to the top.
It's it's coming around on me now, Jeff.
Yeah, I point that one out just because it was fun, and I guess maybe before its time. But I don't know if there's like one great article. And I used to write a lot of articles. I mean, when I started it back in the years, I would write a lot of articles. Yeah. What's this? Is the
It's
fountain?
true. Jeff has looked the same for
Oh.
17 years.
I try.
So, Ryan's second question, what topic surprised you when it took off or refused to die? And I'll take that one cuz that goes back to 2007 or so. There was for me there were two articles. This is back on the blog that really stood out. It was like, oh shit, what have I? What these were ones that I started about Auto Trader, and
Yeah.
they took off. I think the first one was about the expensive Auto Trader. Was it worth the ROI? and the second one was their blitzing sales tactics.
Mm,
Yeah.
it was the Blitz. Yes. God. Yeah, there were times where I'd just rather Alex not publish anything. It was always, I mean, go back and look at some of the articles, and you would just get us in a shit ton of trouble figuring it'd be a good idea to do an April's Fool's joke on Digital Dealer and Mike Roscoe and saying that it was canceled, and then getting, I can't, I, how many times was we served papers? I would say at least 12 to 13 times. And probably half
That
of those
wasn't
were from
all
my,
from my posts, though.
yes, they've all been from your post. They weren't from
Most of
mine. Yeah. We got barred from Digital Dealer, and I didn't even realize it. And I went to, because Digital Dealer there for a while, years back, was doing like these little micro conferences at different cities. And I showed up at one down in Baltimore area, and Mike Roscoe just walks up to me and goes, "You're not coming in here." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I got a ticket." I was like, I was totally dumbfounded. I had no idea what he was talking about. "You've been barred. You're not allowed. You're not allowed here. You're not allowed at the big conference." It's like, oh, come on, Mike. So somehow it snuck back in, but yeah, that was your doing. The Auto Trader
and
Blitz
that's
was your
Papa Mike
doing.
now.
What's
That's
that? What's
He's not
popping?
Mike Roscoe anymore. He's Papa Mike.
Oh, that's right. He's a reggae Rasta singer,
That's right.
something like that. Yeah, no, it was always your articles would always bring out a lot of craziness.
You know, the funny part in that is I got to have dinner with Chip Perry last month. We were
Mm-hmm.
both at a conference together, and it was good connecting with him. We didn't talk about this, but that was
Chip's a
definitely
good
back
guy. I
in
like
the.
Chip.
Chip is an amazing guy.
Yeah.
In fact, we have him
Yeah, he's coming up.
on next week. So hey,
Yeah, it'll be great.
yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. No, I mean, even despite, because he was well aware of some of the articles that were written, and dude, he never pulled a Mike Roscoe on me. Never ever.
yeah, he's
Super
too
nice.
classy.
Always a gentleman. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And like, a lot of times it just turned into great conversations with him.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. We've got him on next week.
Well, what industry connection was made through Refresh that surprised you?
Man, I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
I can
I've
tell
made
you,
so many connections, but I don't know if it'd be a surprise. I mean, I made a lot of friends, Probably the biggest one, of course, is you. I
not
mean,
Ryan Leslie.
and it's been, well, we all love Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to give that one a little bit more thought. Because if it's going to be a surprise, it had to be someone that would have never imagined uh, making friends. There was this hot chick that worked at one of the booths at
Oh, you better
NADA.
stop now. I think I know where that one goes. But I can't say for me, I wouldn't have the career that I've had if it weren't for Dealer Refresh. Um, like I would still be at Checkered Flag. I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
You
Maybe
think
one
so?
day the world will circle around for me like it has for Jeff, but I certainly wouldn't have gotten to the vendor side if it weren't for Dealer
Yeah.
Refresh. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that, I mean, the exposure is what really sets it apart is, it's being able to, I mean, being asked to speak at the conferences, um, I guess being made to feel like you're important, uh, and just meeting all the different people in the industry. But yeah, the exposure is probably, especially initially, was the biggest thing. Yeah, man, especially whenever I was at Mile One, because everyone wants to work with one of the larger groups. Of course, so you're at Mile One, and I had Dealer Refresh. Um, that was some fun times. Some fun times. Yeah, a lot of vendors were very, very generous those years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of girls met at conferences, huh? No, just kidding. So the next question's from Rick Buffkin, and he's asking, "What is the number one most viewed post on Dealer Refresh?" So I don't know about ever, but I can share my screen and show how you would find the number one thing on the forums currently. So
Yeah, there's the most popular tab, which I forget how that ranks. For the longest time, though, it was that QR code one. But 2 years ago, we were just messing around. We started one COVID conspiracies. Yeah, the initial was like how it related to the industry and all that good stuff. But obviously, with those keywords, and Dealer Refresh has always done pretty well ranking in the SERPs. So I'm sure that's why that one, because it's only 2 years old.
it's
Because the
probably
QR
why
code
this
one,
one, which didn't get a ton, I'm not sure this one got a ton of comments, but
yeah, I had to look.
I would assume
Yeah,
that this isn't really automotive people coming in and finding this one.
yeah. Well, same with the other one. I
Yep.
think it just there's some keywords in there. It just explodes it. But
Yeah.
the
And Car
it's
Gurus
funny. I'm
stealing
surprised the
leads.
QR code one isn't up there
Well, I can set it
because it used to be.
to 100 entries, top 100. How does, oh, interesting. A deals for dealer. Hey, something that a lot of vendors aren't taking advantage of that we've had free for them forever.
I know.
Look how high that one's doing.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
probably because of the term, automotive training and certification.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
see the QR code one on there.
Like all this Google My Business stuff. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah, that goes big.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Good question, though. Great questions. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah. So now, or that was Rick. So Rick,
All
now
right,
you
so
know you can come over here and play around.
for now,
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Yeah, most popular in last 30. Hmm.
what's that? Should
I'm not
change
sure.
it.
Should change ad a most popular. Oh, last 30 days. I think.
I think it does have that availability. I'll check into it.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, since we're there already, we are in the midst of a redesign right now.
Yes. Would love some feedback. Matter of fact, I might send a direct message with the URL, have them take a look at it. There's still a few things I want to iron out before we do that, though.
Yeah, agreed. So I think people who are commenting here will get that direct message.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of them, there's a few staple folks who've been around for quite a while and been participating and a huge part of the community. I want to start by thanking Alexander Lau, um,
Yes.
K Car, uh, Matt Watson.
No.
No,
God, dude, that guy could be a real. I gather he's probably a really cool guy, but man, he was such an ass.
you
Such an
know,
ass. He knew Dealer Refresh ranked really well in the SERPs and it's what on Google and such, and he would just keyword stuff shit and start threads because he worked for Vin Solutions. I guess he was one of the founders
he's the
or pretty high
CTO.
up there. Yeah. Yeah, he would he would utilize Dealer Refresh for all the wrong reasons. He got on my nerves.
I don't know. I actually, in hindsight, and I don't want to give anyone any advice here, but now I think about one of the things that Matt Watson did specifically was he would let the world
Yeah,
know every time he released something new in his product.
that's true. Yep.
And he put it everywhere, all over the place. And the funny part in all of that, I think Vin Solutions has been dealing with the repercussions of how he coded stuff. And I'm using the
Mhm.
word stuff to be nice. Um, there's another S word I think that it fits in there more appropriately. But the I always likened it to like the way he coded was he started with this trailer. It's like, okay, I got a trailer. Now I need to make it a double wide trailer. So you got another trailer, you put it next to it, and they sort of welded them together. And now he's got a double wide. And then it was like, okay, we're going to put a second story on this thing. So I got another trailer, stacked it on top, welded that together. I got a 2-story trailer. And then they went and just like, I've got to have a skyscraper. So he just stacked more trailers on top of each other until this thing was huge. And then one day, or really at the end of every month, the tornado came to the trailer park and blew the damn thing up. So it's like he built that thing without any foundation. It was just feature, 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 and just threw it on. Anything a dealer asked for, he just threw it on. But his brilliance in doing that and just feature, 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 feature without any regard for the future or scale or anything like that. In his way of marketing it and speaking to it was actually for the way he did things, that was actually pretty sharp. And then they got a huge number for that thing in that time.
They sure did. They
It was a
sure did.
piece of shit technologically product. It still is. But
How do you
you know
feel about it?
well, I mean, I know a couple of things about Vin Solutions and what's going
Mhm.
on in the tech and the code to know that it's not as polished as something should be for the future.
Mhm.
But I'll save that for another time. Something about Dell servers, but come back to that another
But
time.
you are right because we've invited, especially our sponsors, because a lot of our sponsors get their own dedicated forum, and we've always encouraged them to use it as a customer support area. You know, not just press releases or news, but like if you got a product and a service and you're doing updates, and that's what Matt would do. Anytime he did an update, he would post it in that thread under Vin Solutions. And and then people would come in, ask questions, they would make requests, and you're right, he would the way he utilized it for that was great. Yeah. So much that we've asked other I think the biggest problem is a lot of the vendors just they don't have someone on hand that's willing to take the time to be consistent with it.
Or it's a little intimidating.
No, that's
So
true.
you might feel like this new thing that you just added to your product is not going to go over well with some of the people that are on Dealer Refresh. This the community is. I've been told this by many over the years that it's an intimidating group because it's sort of the tip of the spear.
Yeah, we have been told that, especially years ago. We did have a, a group of very Joe Pastelish people. And I say that in a good way for sure.
Yeah. So speaking of people over the years, definitely Uncle Joe, and of course Drew Mint, um, Ryan Leslie, Rick Buffkin, Ryan Everson, Jeff. You want to throw a few out there? There's Chris Leslie as well. He hasn't chimed in
Yeah,
here
Chris
today.
Leslie. Yep. George Nenny's always been pretty active. Again, you jump over to Facebook and you see a lot of them really concentrate on their Facebook pages, getting information. A lot of times I'll reach out, hey, why don't you repost that over in the forums, and they do. Uh, but it's it's getting as much content as we can. That way, you have something to reference back to, whether it's a year or 5 years from now.
Yeah, a
You
couple
know.
others like Brian Tucker, we haven't seen in a while.
Oh yeah, Mr.
And
Tucker.
then Dan Sayer, who's been
Dan's great.
for sure.
Yeah,
Stawning,
yeah. Mr. Stawning.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's also a few who sort of got their start. Um, like I think Jerry Tebow with Phone Ninjas. So used
Jerry did,
Dealer
yeah.
Refresh as a launching pad.
Well,
Brian
he did it the
Pash did
right
it too.
way. Yeah, Brian Pash did as well. Yeah, I remember my first phone call with Brian. But yeah, Jerry did a good job because he was
Yeah.
before he had started Phone Ninjas. He was, he was pretty active in the community, and he would help answer a lot of questions, especially when it came down to phone training scripts and all that good stuff. So whenever he broke out and decided to start Phone Ninjas, he had sort of earned the right to post in the forums as a, hey guys, I'm going to start this new thing. Come check it out. Because we try to really cut back on any type of, blatant advertising, self promotion. But he did it right. He was a good example of how to utilize and leverage a community to, start to build something.
I think
Yeah, you're
Paul
right.
Rushing was another one.
Oh God, Paul
he's
Rushing
he's still around. He's sort of playing behind the scenes now, I think.
and automotive.
I think so. I had heard that he had hooked up with I mean this could be this particular thing was older, but he had done some things with Keith Latman for a while.
Yes.
And,
I
you know.
always thought they were. What about Stefan? Where's Stefan
Oh
been?
yeah, Stefan.
Yep.
Where has Pre-Cup been?
Yeah, I guess he's still out in Reno.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, there's so many. Oh yeah, Eric Milch.
I know there's so many. It's it's tough. Um, Carol, she's from
Active
Active
Engage.
Engage.
Yep.
Yeah, but she's she's been part of it for quite a while.
Todd Smith.
Yeah. Yep. Todd.
Ooh,
That's right. Yeah, I just spoke to him on the phone the other day.
I think everyone can say that.
Probably
And then
right.
and then we got the Australian.
Yep. Yep.
Let's see if we can. You just mention Australia, and usually he pops up.
Yeah, that's all you need to say.
There's Gilbert Chavez.
Yeah,
That's going
Gilbert
way
was
back. Yeah.
yep. He was an refresher.
Mm-hmm. I'm
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 horrible
trying to
with
go in the
names, but
Wayback Machine in my brain right now.
yeah, that's what I was
Erica
going here on the
Sietzma was there
forums.
for a while.
Spoke with Erica like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, good.
hmm Well, she's the one that jumped on Dealer Refresh and then introduced me to David Metter, which was in charge of Mile One with all the marketing. That's how I was introduced to Mile One and got into that job. Yeah. Again, the exposure.
For sure. Yeah, there's a lot of faces. I'm so bad with names. I was one of those
I know. So
people.
am I.
Yep. Um, I can absolutely remember every car a customer traded and bought. I can remember what they look like, but I cannot remember a single name.
I would always, I would always remember their email address. Talk
Oh,
about weird. Yeah. It was 20 some years ago, but for whatever reason, for the longest time, not so much now, I could spit out people's email addresses, especially if it was sort of unique.
yeah. You've got an AOL email address, and you've got a what was it, GeoCities, and
So
yep,
true.
yeah. So another one I think that's worth mentioning in the Dealer Refresh history is Dealer Authority. You know, they
hmm
get taken a bit for granted, but they've been handling our social media posts for has it been 3 years, 4 years,
Yeah,
2
at
years?
least.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah.
shout out to Tyson and crew and Erica and now Jessica and Mr. West, of course. And Jill,
Yeah, they
who's
do
on it
do a
now.
solid job. Hmm.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, we
Just
meet
going
with the
through our
Dealer Authority crew monthly, and
usually.
they bring stats to us, show us how things were touched in the Facebook world primarily, and then we talk about strategy and whatnot. And we're trying to push on getting further into LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because we really focused on Facebook initially, going live on Facebook. And of course, you know that if you watch Refresh Friday, uh, which there's always a part of me like to get the crap off of Facebook,
Well, Twitter
not
is
just for
making a
Dealer
comeback. Have you
Refresh,
heard?
but yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll. What was did they buy Periscope? Remember Periscope? It was
Mhm.
a quick live video streaming. I thought they had purchased or acquired Periscope. I mean, they'll bring that back. We'll go on Twitter.
No, you
Yeah.
got what was TweetDeck? That's the one to open back up. Remember that one?
Well, that was a program to send out your tweets through
Yeah, but
through
you had
TweetDeck.
like
But I
this.
think it was also
It was like
oh
columns,
yeah,
and
yes,
yes, and
you
you
because
had
you could
all
build
these.
lists.
Yeah,
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. I did use that for a while. I wonder why I got out of that. Well, I wanted to find something that I could send out a message and for it to go to all the different platforms. And then I had stumbled across Sprout Social, which I've been on that forever. So we use that for tweets. We use that for being able to cross post against the different all across the different platforms. But they're constantly changing that all the time. The platforms are. It's almost like they don't want those programs out there to exist. And there's always way more flexibility whenever you go straight to Facebook, go straight to Twitter, straight to LinkedIn. You've got a lot more options with editing, uploading, and all that good stuff. So it makes it hard to use one of those one and done platforms,
hmm.
at least from my experience.
Well, let's see.
Any weekend plans?
Well, it's Mother's Day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I ordered something. I don't think it's come in yet. I need to check that. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got that and my oldest son's lacrosse game on Saturday.
Did you oh really? Good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, and
Did
then
you
maybe if I get some time in the
I didn't
morning,
know he was playing lacrosse. I didn't know he was playing lacrosse.
yeah.
I don't think you shared that with me.
And then I've gotten into to hunting, and so it's May 1st through the end of the month is turkey season up here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think ours is already gone. May still be in.
yeah, so I
I'm
walked
gonna go
out
get
in the driveway this morning. I've got the woods, just my entire backyard. So I walked out in the driveway and I used a call, and man, they were all chiming back. Like, oh man, I wish I didn't have to go to work right now.
Is that what kind of color do you use?
Well, with turkey, you can do mouth. There's a pot call,
Yeah.
and then there's a
So you
box
use
call.
the
And this morning
yeah.
I used the box, but
Okay.
usually I use a pot.
I was pretty good at the mouth colors
Hmm.
when I was younger. Yeah. Put those roof of your mouth and use your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, I thought you were going to pull up the current or the refresh of the forums
Oh, I thought
before we
you were
jump.
going to send it out for direct feedback with a few people.
Okay, that's
As soon
fine.
as you said that, I was like, yeah, it might not be worth showing right now because it's still a little raw.
Yeah, you're probably right.
That
You're all
that
right.
double nav is still driving me nuts when I pull that page
I
up.
know it is. I know. I know. We'll get it figured out
Yeah.
for
And
sure.
anyway,
So,
happy
who else do
17th.
we?
Can you blow out a
Yeah,
candle or have a drink?
I know. I could go for a beverage. That would be nice.
Yep.
Upcoming Refresh Fridays. So next week we've got Chip Perry. Um, we've got the Cars team after that. Is Tim Martell still going to jump on
Oh,
in the
hold on, let
future?
me pull up the schedule. So yeah, we got Chip Perry next week, and then Cars after that. Tim Martell is after that, and then we've got a tentative from Tom Klein, who I'm excited about. In fact, it's funny. Christine Plunkett just popped up here because she used to work for his family, and
No, really.
yeah, so I ran into Tom in Carolina at the Auto Intel Summit, and he is, yep, her old boss. And Tom has started a risk assessment company, and he scared the bejesus out of me. um, Talking about different things that dealers are doing. Christine could probably laugh a little bit because the arcade group was um, they definitely were not afraid of taking some risks.
Mm-hmm.
So Tom would know it well, but I hope that Tom can make it. Waiting to hear back from him. I think that's going to be a very interesting show. I know all these shows will be, but for those who don't know Tom Klein, be be prepared to be scared. But
Really.
yeah, it'll be worth
Uh-oh.
hearing. Yeah. So yeah,
And I
that's the
want to.
next four, I think.
We need to. I want to reach out to Kevin Fry because they just sold their first vehicle using crypto.
Oh yeah, we
So
need to
Kevin,
have
if you're
him
watching
and
this,
the Hadley crypto guys on
yes,
together.
yeah,
That would be interesting.
yeah, we'll shoot for that. So
Yeah.
some good shows coming up. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. See you next
All
Friday.
right, man. I'll see you then. Happy birthday.
In the
Thanks, everyone.
meantime, everyone have a drink for Dealer Refresh tonight.
Cheers. All right, later on.
See ya.